Hello ladies and gents, another video brought to you by Bounce Hood, and today's video is going to be about my Camponotus nicobarensis, or my nicos. Brood, and more brood. I definitely think it's safe to say that my nicos are definitely on the road to recovery. As you'll see in this video today, they have got more brood than they've had for a very long time, even though I've just had a mass hatching as well, because I've got all the silks covering the outworld, which I did hoover up but I didn't film, but there is still some in there, so you might see when I'm doing my little round robin of how they're all doing. Now these guys have an extensive playlist. I'll put that in the top right corner now so you can check it out, because there has been a lot of history with this Connolly. I've had them 2 years, I've done loads of videos, and there's been some very ups and downs with them. But let's take a look at how they're getting on today. So this is their second outworld. This used to be their fielding pod. Now it's just more of a graveyard, and where I put some honey water and leave their big test tube of water there. This is their main outworld. Now this is a lot busy, and it's been for a long while. Now that is an old cockroach. I am taking that out and putting a freshener in. You'll see that in a bit. But what's really interesting is if you look at this, these burnt out buildings, as it were, they're actually starting to swarm in there a little bit. Now they used to do this en masse when there was large numbers, and maybe 1,000 more than I've got now. To see them do it again kind of fills me a bit of confidence that my numbers are definitely increasing, because I've not seen that for a long while. But if we take a look at the Wakooshi S4 nest, we'll go into there with a macro shot soon, but you'll see they're starting to occupy the tunnels again like they used to, and obviously they're in this crappy Ant Canada outworld stuff. Now I don't know why they've congregated up here, but I've noticed this over the past couple of days that they're chilling out up there. I generally don't go into this outworld because there's no need to, because it's rubbish and I don't like it. But anyway, so this is the vertical side of the Wakooshi laptop nest, and this is the very top shelf. I'll work my way down. Now they're quite busy in here, not too full, still got space in there if they choose to utilise it, but they're much more happier chilling in the outworld, and that doesn't bother me because it's very much a nicobarensis trait. Now if you look here, there's the queen, and I've got a little bit to say about the queens, but I'll talk about that a bit later, because we're looking at brood right now, and you can see I've got a nice little pile of fresh larvae, not quite fresh eggs but larvae, but the queen is definitely laying, which is great news. Now you can always tell the larvae because when they start to move, and two, they've got black stomachs where they've got food in it. And I've got another pile here of larvae, which is really good, because obviously if you look, I've got plenty of pupae, which are the cocoons. Now providing I've got a continual recycling of brood like I have with all these larvae everywhere, that's a good sign, because it means that once the pupae hatch, they'll also be replaced by upcoming brood, which previously when I've had large numbers and I had that big crash, I didn't get that. The queen stopped producing eggs, and as soon as all my pupae had hatched, I had no fresh income for a long time when it comes to numbers, and I had a crash off with that. But as you can see here, there's still plenty of brood all over the place. There is pupae all over the place, so generally speaking they're doing really well, which I'm so excited about, because like I said, it's been one roller coaster after another with these guys, so really pleased. But while you're watching this video and seeing all the pupae I've got, let me mention something about the queens. Now the queens, I've mentioned this before in other videos, that Camponotus don't generally have more than one queen, and it's very hit and miss with nicobarensis if they keep two queens or they kill one. What I did do early on in the stage, I did put these in a nest that was far too big for them. Now I didn't do it on purpose, I just gave them the option, they choose to move into it, blah blah blah. But either way I did it, and well, they're fine for it, as you can tell. But one thing I did notice, that once I started getting some significant numbers of workers, the queens avoided each other. They went from one side of the nest to the other, and then when I put them in multiple nests, then they moved to different nests, and they always kept apart, and to this day they still keep apart. Like I've got one queen high up in the vertical section, if you've just seen a second ago, and you'll see the second queen on the horizontal or the flat part of it, or the base of it, in a completely different part of the nest. And I think that's why they've capped the two queens and done so well, because the queens have been apart and they have not had a fight at all, and they've lived together and managed to keep two queens without one of them dying. I think that's what's happened here. PJGrant followed this advice, and he has still got his 2 queen and 3 queen nicobarensis Connolly, so there might be some merit to what I'm saying. Now if we take a look at the flat part, or the horizontal part of this nest, then you'll see that this is the outside circle of outside of the 4 hydration chambers. Now they do use this to habitate, they do store some brood. Sorry about the lighting, it is night time, as you well know. Well, you won't know because you're not here. But it is night time, and I'm using a light, and sometimes the camera covers it, or the phone covers it and blocks the light, but don't worry about it. Now generally speaking, they keep this area clear apart from here, where I've got a humidity probe in there to see what it's like. I might as well take it out, it's rubbish, it's just a cheap eBay one. But they do use it a bit of a trashy area, but it's not totally disgusting. But all in all, they generally keep the outskirts fairly clean. But as we move into the main nest chambers, as you can see here, yet again, when it lightens up a little bit more, I think I'll move the light, yes, you'll see that it's still packed full of brood of all different stages as well. And there's plenty of workers about. I'm generally really pleased because, like I said, it's been such a nightmare with these girls. And to see that I've got a good load of pupae, and the pupae's been recycling through, so I've got a good development. The queens are laying a lot, the brood's there, the larvae's there, as you can see, and the pupae is definitely there. So I'm so pleased that they're doing well, and I generally think that it's, I don't know what it is, I've upped my protein for these guys. I'm a lot more on it when it comes to replacing the cockroaches. Generally speaking, if they chow down on the cockroach and finish it off, so trophalactics there, I then replace it and put another cockroach in. And I think that I don't overdo it with 2 cockroaches, I just put one large one in there. And since I've been doing that and making sure that their carbohydrate is regularly topped up, which they do drink a lot of, to be fair, then I think it's done the trick. I think I said it in a couple of videos back when they started, when I was on the downer, that I was going to up the protein, and I have, and this is the results. They're doing fantastically well. So I'm pretty pleased with the amount of brood I've got. Now, one thing I've noticed about my nicos, they never really separate the different stages of brood like other ants do. For example, like my Camponotus, they tend to separate the brood into different stages. These guys are just messy, they just mix it all in, so it's really difficult to see how much I've got of the development brood coming through to the pupae stage. But what you will see in a very short second is the queen, second queen. And like I said, completely different side of the nest compared to where the other queen is. And as you can see with mine as well, neither of the queens have a lot of damage. She is just there. Look at her. Look, she's got all the workers paying attention to her, and now she's noticed I've clocked her. She's like, oh, I'm being shy now. I'm gonna like hide away. But she looks healthy as, she looks really good, and she's clearly pumping out the brood, because I think the bottom part are all hers and the top part are all the other queens. And they've both got, I'd probably say the top queen's got a slightly bit more pupae and brood than what she's got, but equally, look how it's all doing. They are both doing fantastically well, so well done, girls. And this is what I was talking about, how you got the 4 main chambers in the bottom part where all the brood is, and the outer road, as I like to call it, so use it as a highway. And if you look up in the vertical part, you can see all the brood that I was talking about. Now, I do really rate these nests. I haven't hydrated. I've hydrated it like once since having it, because the Camponotus tend to regulate their own humidity and their own water supply in there by taking those big test tubes of water that I've got, as I've explained earlier. They go through a lot of them, to be fair. Now, I do apologise for these next little bits of video clips I'm showing, because in parts they're quite overexposed with light. Now, don't ask me why. I just think that my video is not on par, and it's definitely not as good as Ant's Holifer. Super jealous, mate. I want your camera. Give it to me. And I absolutely love watching my nicos go to town on a cockroach. Now, the reason for that is not because I'm a sicko, it's because Camponotus are quite a big species, as you well know. And I have got some very teeny tiny ants, as you guys well know, that keep an eye on my channel. And you can actually make out a lot of detail with the Camponotus when they're actually going to town on a cockroach. Now, I know she's flailing around, but as you can clearly see, I've cut her down the middle. But unfortunately, I missed the main spinal column, so half of us paralysed and the other half's flailing around. And I did miss her head, but don't worry about that. I have actually cut again through the middle of her head before putting her in, by the way. So she is definitely dead, the cockroach. Now, I know she's a she because 1, she hasn't got wings, and 2, she's about to give birth. And I do have that on video, and I'll probably show you it about now. Now, I didn't actually catch her giving the whole birth because I was busy doing something else, but this is a defence mechanism from a cockroach. What tends to happen is that if she is pregnant and she gets an attack or something like that, they tend to force the birth. Now, my Solenopsis, when this happens, they tend to eat the larvae inside the cocoon. And it is a cocoon because it does have a hard outer shell. Well, a hardish outer shell. But what I've noticed about my Camponotus nicobarensis is they very rarely chow into this cocoon thing, and I've left this in the outworld for a while, and it probably dries out and kills all the cockroaches inside it, because it tends to go hard and stuff. Now, if it had the right humidity, there might be an opportunity for them to develop into proper nymphs, cockroach nymphs, but I have never seen that, to be honest. And I've never actually seen, I know they give birth in my cockroach setup, as it were, even though it's a basic one, they do give birth. I do get a recycle of young cockroaches, but I've never actually seen them give birth to the pupae to see if they come out like this and they hatch out of it, or if they come out already. I'm sure there's some geek out there that knows cockroaches better than I, because I just use them as feeders and I don't pay much attention to them, so maybe you guys can answer that question. Now what I'm actually going to do before uploading this video is upload these 2 videos of the ants attacking the cockroach giving birth. Now the reason I'm doing that is a bit of a moral experiment for myself, because I'm going to use something really clickbaity, like, you know, ants attack pregnant, ants attack cockroach, cockroach give birth, or something dramatic like that, to see how really clickbaity YouTube is. And I imagine it's very clickbaity, but I am kind of curious to see how people react to it, because, sorry, I've got the sniffles a little bit, guys. So, because I know people who are watching my videos are actually dedicated ant keepers on the whole. There might be a couple of people that have got an interest, but generally speaking, my videos cater to the more ant keeper orientated, and to tell you the truth, the more adult-y ant keepers out there, not so much the younger generation of ant keepers. Even though I do know I have some young viewers, guys, so don't feel segregated. My cat's being annoying. Go away, Hamilton, you're a turd. Stupid cat. Anyway, sorry, off on a tangent. So I am going to... that's why I didn't use that as a dramatic clickbait title for this. But I think it's more important to show you how, for my YouTubers and the people that do follow this commonly, and I am going to drop kick the cat through the window because he's annoying me. Go away, you idiot. I am actually going to, I didn't use that as an actual clickbaity title. I think brood for my nicobarensis means a lot more to my current subscribers and my current viewers. So I am going to put this in a separate video to be clickbaity, but that's just me. But you really, guys, need to check out this next time lapse, because it's nothing to do with eating them, it's about them taking our carbohydrates, and I do love a time lapse, and this is really great to see how much they take the carbohydrates. And this is why Camponotus species are known as sugar ants, because they love their sweet stuff. Oh, and I really need to put this as a disclaimer, I was only joking about drop kicking the cat through the window. I am not a horrible person, and that would be nasty pasty. He is a furry freak, and I do actually like him, but he's annoying. That's the cat, Hamilton. What a douche. Now this is 5 millilitres, I think it is, of honey water that I make myself. Just get some organic honey from the shops, mix it with hot water, and then mix it together and then feed it my ants. No dramas at all, nice, cheap and easy. And the only thing is, you can't, if you haven't got a honey like mine that destroy this very quickly, it tends to ferment after a couple of days, so you need to replace it. That's why with smaller species I prefer getting the like blue goo that I get from Antantics, because it lasts a lot longer. But I do love this time lapse, and I love seeing how quickly they actually destroy us. It took them about 30 minutes to do this as well, so no time at all. But anyway, back to the cockroach. Now this footage goes on for another 15 minutes, and there is some really good footage of the cockroaches, the ants actually going to town on the inside of the cockroach as well. But like I said, I am not going to drag this out any longer. It's already been 13 minutes, and it is supposed to be a short midweek update, which is never short. I'll leave this in real time recording for a couple of minutes, just so you guys can watch it if you choose to. If you don't, just skip to the end and where I do my little normal summary. But I'll leave you guys to this for a little bit. If you guys like watching footage like that, let me know, and I'll start doing my little hidden videos where I put all the extra footage and stuff like this in the video so you guys can check it out if you want. I stopped it because not many people seem to watch them, but if you guys want to see them again, let me know and leave a comment down below. And if you do like my videos, by all means hit the like and subscribe because you help me out no end. But also, who else helps me out no end is my Patreon supporters. So please join me and say a super massive thanks to Adam W, Adrian, Antantics, Anty Matters, David D, Jason W, Kevin R, Paul A, Pavant, PJGrant and Wakooshi. And if you guys want to become a Patreon, by all means check out the link in my description below. But anyway, I will stop talking rubbish for now. Thank you very much for watching my video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.